Hello, everyone. Welcome to BestPrep's annual luncheon. I'm G. Philip Schultz III, the Associate Artistic Director of Vocal Essence. We're a Minneapolis-based choir organization that transforms lives by singing together, by assuring a place for everyone's voice. Our goal is to create immersive and innovative performing and learning experiences to bridge across difference and to engage people across race, culture, and age. We are thrilled to partner with BestPrep as we work together to prepare young people for successful futures and to change our society for good. It's my honor now to introduce the Vocal Essence singers of this age, our dynamic youth choir. Please enjoy their performance.
For simple words we sing today, with these 4 words we are to pray, and take to heart this sacred phrase, more love, less hate.
It seems so easy on its face for words to heal the human race, and yet we struggle to create more love, less hate. More love, less hate. For love we stand. For love in this land. Really join, come take my hand. More love, less hate. When fear and violence touch our lives, they separate, cease to divide. Our faith and love for free tonight. More love, less hate.
Just as the night gives way to dawn, justice shines forth before too long, until the day we will sing on. More love, less hate.
More love, less hate. For love we stand. For love in this land. Will you join? Come take my hand. More love, less hate. For love we stand. For love in this land. Will you join? Come take my hand. More love,
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a fun and inspiring way to kick off this annual luncheon. Thank you, singers of this age, for a beautiful performance. I needed that. We needed that. I'm Paul Douglas. I'm thrilled to be your MC today, tracking something better than a warm front, a best prep front. It's a good thing. For those of you new to BestPrep, they are celebrating the 45th year of preparing students for a successful career journey by focusing on financial literacy, business, and career readiness. They accomplish this through business volunteers who step up, providing real-life experiences through online mentoring, classroom presentations, and summer camps and workshops. The annual luncheon is an event to recognize the exemplary work of BestPrep students, teachers, and volunteers over the past year. Thank you for tuning in. We'd like to hear from you right now. Click on the chat function, which is located right next to or below the video, and share where you're all coming from. One of the perks of hosting a virtual event is that you can watch from anywhere. In fact, last year we had people tuning in from all over the nation. This event would not be possible without today's sponsors. Let's start by recognizing the gracious support of our wonderful platinum sponsors. They include AdvisorNet, Affiance Financial, Arby's Restaurant Group, BMO Harris Bank, Comcast, Emerson, North Star Resource Group, Thrivent, and Voya. Thank you to our two great gold sponsors as well, Travelers and Wings Financial Credit Union. Prior to today's event, a reception was held for all of our award winners, sponsored by 3M and H.B. Fuller. Thank you for recognizing their exemplary efforts. We are most fortunate to have 3 silver sponsors: Cargill, Ecolab, and Securian Financial. A huge thank you to all of our bronze sponsors as well, which you can see listed right now on the screen. I love the support for BestPrep. It's something we can all agree on. And BestPrep would like to thank today's media sponsors, Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal and WCCO Radio, for promoting this event. Look for a congratulatory ad in the Business Journal coming soon. Now, let's get started with the awards. Throughout the program, we invite you to post on social media with the hashtag BestPrep Annual Luncheon as a way to recognize the achievements of today's winners. Let's begin by recognizing our educators.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Vigaski, and I'm here to present the Educator of Excellence Awards. BestPrep is indebted to the teachers who use our programs to prepare students for their future. Let me start by recapping the last year and sharing our program highlights. In the midst of hybrid and distance learning, our eMentors program had a record 4,300 students participate. St. Paul Central High School became our newest Cloud Coach school, and 430 3M volunteers mentored 9th grade students. More than 30 new teachers incorporated the stock market game into their classrooms to provide real-life experiences with our economic system. Our Classroom Plus and Financial Matters programs created 25 videos for teachers to use with students on topics including interviewing, time management, and credit. And we hosted our Minnesota Business Venture Summer Camp for students and the Technology Integration Workshop for teachers online for the second year. Both programs were enriched with many enhancements from the year before. This past year, several educators continued to rise to the top. Congratulations to BestPrep's Educator of Excellence Award winners. From the 560 teachers we worked with last year, the 15 educators you see on the screen shine through for their exceptional efforts. Today, we recognize these educators for providing outstanding educational experiences for their students, as well as their noteworthy collaboration with our staff. Congratulations again. Your commitment to your students and bringing them quality programming is something that we are truly grateful for. And I'd now like to present the Carpenter Educator of the Year Award. Each year, our staff selects one educator to receive this distinction because of their longtime involvement, growth, and leadership while using BestPrep's programs. The honor is named in memory of Joan Carpenter, who was a longtime teacher in the Robbinsdale School District and became a dear friend and contributor to BestPrep. I'm proud to announce that this year's winner is my cow from Osseo Senior High School. Mai became involved with BestPrep in 2010 while teaching at a prior school where she invited volunteers to talk with students about investing and accounting. Since then, she's utilized Classroom Plus, Financial Matters, and eMentors in her classroom and attended our technology integration workshop for teachers. Not only has she utilized our programs even after changing schools, but she's also volunteered as a moderator at the technology integration workshop and spoken to our staff about her experience teaching during COVID. Mai, you are an incredible advocate, volunteer, and participant of BestPrep's programs. We are honored to work with such an outstanding educator. Thank you so much, Mai.
Hello, my name is Amber Heglund, one of the assistant principals at Osseo Senior High. It is an honor to congratulate my cow on being selected as the Best Prep Teacher of the Year. Osseo Senior High and Osseo Area Schools is proud to have you on our team. Mai is a champion for kids. She is a builder. Due to her commitment, she has successfully grown our business program by one full-time teacher. She does this through positive relationships and relevant learning experience that honor each individual student. Mai, thank you for knowing your why and elevating your students' why through creativity, innovation, and conviction. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bonnie and Amber. I am honored to be the recipient of this year's Carpenter Educator of the Year Award. When I first began my journey in education over a decade ago, I needed a way to bring relevancy into my classroom, and that's how I found BestPrep. I had just moved to a new city, and I did not have any connections to business professionals. I wanted to invite guests into my classroom to talk about their experience and to provide insight into the business world. As a business teacher, I have always understood the importance of preparing all students for a successful future, regardless of post-secondary education path. Knowing that not all students would further their education after high school, I wanted to provide them with as many opportunities and resources as possible while in my class. Just like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, I believe it takes a village to educate a student. BestPrep has been an integral part of my curriculum for my entire career. I've been able to provide my students with the opportunity to explore and learn from many different individuals. Thank you, Bob, and everyone at BestPrep for selecting me for this great honor.
Congratulations, Mai. I'd like to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to our Board of Directors for all of their efforts during this most challenging year. And it's my honor to announce our Leader of Vision Award, which goes to Roz Sai, Vice President of Talent, Learning, and Organizational Effectiveness at Thrivent. Roz was initially introduced to BestPrep 10 years ago through the participation of her children at Minnesota Business Venture. Their experience solidified her commitment to pay it forward. Roz's vision and leadership over the past 2 years has helped grow BestPrep's programs and financial stability to record levels. She continually looks for ways to bring other individuals and companies into the BestPrep family. In addition, she personally volunteers each year as a keynote speaker at Minnesota Business Venture and is a tremendous hit with the students. It is my distinct pleasure to present BestPrep's Leader of Vision Award to Roz Sai.
What a special day. I'm looking forward to my conversation with Superintendent Joe Gothard, and I'm thrilled to be able to acknowledge the outstanding work of Roz Sai, one of our wonderful leaders at Thrivent. Roz, what a gift you are to our community. Every day at Thrivent, you give your best to our employees. You help us uncover and use our talents inside the company so we can help our clients gain financial clarity and live lives of meaning and gratitude. You inspire us to constantly learn, grow, and make each other better. And I'm not surprised to hear that you do the very same thing for BestPrep. I'm inspired by your commitment to help students gain important business, career, and financial skills that they'll need throughout their lives. Your leadership as board chair for BestPrep is a great example of how each of us can find ways to use our talents to make a difference. Congratulations on being recognized as this year's Leader of Vision. Roz, we are filled with gratitude for you.
Thank you, Bob and the BestPrep team, for this extraordinary honor. As many of you know, I came to the United States over 30 years ago as a student. My journey from immigrant to corporate executive is truly a uniquely American story, one that would have been inconceivable had it not been for the countless host families, colleagues, friends, teachers, mentors, leaders who have provided encouragement and support along the way. This life experience is what drives my fundamental belief in the power of education, mentorship, and connecting people to opportunities. And this is the work that the BestPrep team does so well. If youth is the hope of our future, then supporting young people is the best way for all of us to invest in our collective future. Let's all do our part to make it a bright one. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are proud once again to present the Don Freborg Student of the Year Award. Don was our grandfather and an original founding member of BestPrep in 1976 and was board chair in 1982. Don remained involved and loyal to BestPrep throughout his life. We're so grateful that his memory will live on through this annual Student of the Year Award.
Congratulations to this year's winner, Aryan Tomar. Aryan became connected with BestPrep in 2018 when he participated in Minnesota Business Venture and returned the following year as a student leader, where he gained leadership skills and a sense of community. Since then, he has volunteered on the MBV Student Ambassador Committee and BestPrep fundraising events. In fact, he spoke to 500 guests at a past Birdies for BestPrep event where he detailed the impact MBV has made on his life. Aryan is outgoing, gracious, and incredibly smart. He has an incredibly bright future ahead of him.
Our family is proud to award Aryan with a $2,500 scholarship for college tuition. Congratulations, Aryan.
Congratulations, Aryan. We are so excited to award you the BestPrep Student of the Year. From all of the time you've spent with us through Minnesota Business Venture, volunteering at events, and speaking on behalf of our students, we've been incredibly fortunate to learn more about you and how creative and goal-oriented you are. From the first time you and I met when you were a volunteer at the Educational Forum, willing to network and talk to people to make sure they were having a good time, to the time you shared your story with everyone at Birdies for BestPrep, to this summer having been our communications specialist at camp, writing blogs, taking photos, and managing our social media, we have seen what a unique, smart, kind, and forward-thinking person you are. We feel so fortunate you've done so much with us. Congratulations on this achievement. We can't wait to see what you do next.
Hi everyone, my name is Aryan Tomar, and I'm currently studying in British Columbia at Pearson College UWC. I'm local to Minnesota and have been working with BestPrep for the last 3 years. BestPrep has been an incredibly supportive organization that has empowered me to find my voice, find my own place in the world, and inspire youth across Minnesota to take action in their own lives. As a second-generation Indian immigrant and Hmong refugee, my recognition here today brings underrepresented communities into the spotlight. I want to express my utmost gratitude to my parents who have sacrificed so much to give me access to opportunities like the Minnesota Business Venture and the UWC movement. I want to say thank you to my teachers and mentors who have guided me throughout high school and have empowered me to develop myself as a leader in service of the world. And finally, I want to express my gratitude to the community that I have found through BestPrep. Thank you, BestPrep, for empowering me and hundreds of students year after year to take action in our communities and to make the world a brighter place.
Congratulations, Aryan, and thank you to the Freborg family. I would like to give a shout out to everyone watching today and supporting BestPrep. As we all know, we continue to be challenged by the pandemic, but I am so proud of an organization that is forward-thinking and is relentless in looking for new and innovative ways to help students strive for career success. Each year, more than 5,500 volunteers participate in our programs. We are honored to be able to recognize some of these volunteers with a BestPrep Service Award. These individuals on the screen have gone above and beyond to support students and provide them with knowledge and resources to prepare them for the future. Over the past year, they spoke to classrooms, conducted mock interviews, hosted job shadows, mentored students, and more. The foundation for BestPrep's success starts with our volunteers, and we are eternally grateful for all of their efforts to help students. They all received a gift pack and a framed certificate in recognition of their efforts. Congratulations to this year's winners. One of the highlights of our annual luncheon is the presentation of the Bunzell Volunteer of the Year Award. It is named in honor of Cargill executive Eric Bunzell, who served on the BestPrep board for several years before his passing, where he was truly dedicated to ensuring students were prepared for the future. Therefore, we honored Eric by naming the Volunteer of the Year Award after him. This year's Volunteer of the Year goes to Scott Morris, Global Diversity and Inclusion Strategist at 3M. Scott first became involved with BestPrep in 2009. His engaging and energetic style made him an ideal Minnesota Business Venture speaker, where his presentation, Making It Count, stressed the importance of students seeking out and taking advantage of every opportunity. One of Scott's strongest attributes is a burning desire to make things better for students. For many years, Scott served as a mentor and speaker in BestPrep's eMentors program with Johnson and Harding High Schools. He has been involved with the Technology Integration Workshop for Teachers and the development of BestPrep's strategic plan. Scott's latest volunteerism with BestPrep is his most ambitious effort, looking to improve graduation rates and helping students see the opportunities for career success. He became 3M's champion for BestPrep's newest program, Cloud Coach. Upon hearing that BestPrep was looking for a partner for St. Paul Central High School to implement Cloud Coach for ninth graders, Scott immediately raised his hand. He played a critical role in the virtual launch at Central. He approached 3M's employee resource networks and led the charge in mobilizing 430 volunteers who were paired with Central students. We look forward to great things with this partnership with St. Paul Central. We are indebted to Eric Bunzell's wife, Lyda, for sponsoring this award. Before we hear from Scott, we have a message from the Vice President of Community Relations at 3M, Michael Stroik.
Scott, on behalf of 3M Gives and the broader 3M team, congratulations on this amazing award and recognition of your service to BestPrep. You've inspired 3Mers worldwide to get more involved in volunteerism, always emphasizing that getting out, showing up, and giving back are critical steps to advancing equity. And we can start by influencing minds, but the heart will always follow when serving others. This is something I've learned from you time and again, and it's been great to see this in action in your leadership of our employee resource networks at 3M. On a personal note, Scott, you've been a great friend and mentor to me, and I can't thank you enough for the role you've played in inspiring me to be a better 3Mer, but also a better man. I just really love you, and even if you do kick my butt out on the golf course every time we go out together. Congratulations on this incredible recognition, my friend. Really proud and happy for you.
I would like to take this moment to thank BestPrep for honoring me with the Bunzell Volunteer of the Year Award. A special thanks to Bob, Bonnie, and Sam for your vision building out these programs that were ready-made for the pandemic and virtual learning. I also want to thank the over 430 3M volunteers who were inspired to come on this journey with us to really create value for the students, the ninth grade students at St. Paul Central High School. You know, for me, this is the ultimate honor, to be recognized for service. And it's so important to me because it's not about me. There are so many that are involved, and I challenge myself, and I'll challenge each of you to think about, what have we done? What's possible? And how can we inspire? How can we inspire service leaders from across the Twin Cities to help us realize those possibilities for the students of Minnesota? BestPrep, you are the ultimate enabler, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Congratulations, Scott. You really are making the world a better place. Thank you. Now we've come to the keynote portion of this program. This year's event is a little bit different than most because BestPrep has two keynotes, allowing us to hear from both the business and the educational worlds. I'm honored to be able to introduce our first keynote, President and CEO of Thrivent, Terry Rasmussen. She guides the organization as it fulfills its promise to help people achieve financial clarity so they can live lives of meaning and gratitude. Before her current role, Rasmussen was president of Thrivent's core life, health, and annuities business after serving 10 years as senior vice president, general counsel, and secretary. She serves on many boards of directors, including the American Council of Life Insurers, H.B. Fuller, and the Walker Art Center. Please welcome Terry Rasmussen.
Thank you. Well, it's a privilege to be here today to celebrate the important mission of BestPrep and the people who bring the organization to life, the students, teachers, leaders, and volunteers. Together, you're discovering and living out your purpose, and it's inspiring to see how it all comes together. I am blown away by each person who has been honored today, and I'm so impressed by the talents of vocal essence singers of that age. Wow. I'm happy to speak with you today because I see an incredible alignment between BestPrep and Thrivent. Both organizations are deeply committed to helping people achieve their full purpose, ultimately leading to a better world for all of us. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit more about Thrivent. We're a financial services organization that's driven by a deep calling at our core. We believe humanity thrives when people make the most of all they've been given. We've always existed to help our clients and society. When we were founded more than a century ago, we weren't founded as a business venture. We were created to fulfill a societal need. We help our clients plan for the future, prepare for the unexpected, and make an impact in communities. Today, Thrivent offers holistic financial services, including advice, investments, insurance, banking, and generosity. We're a Fortune 500 company with $162 billion in assets under management and advisement. We have the highest credit rating from AM Best, and we've been named one of the world's most ethical companies for the past decade. But we have a unique perspective from other financial services companies. We believe money is a tool to live a life of meaning. Money's not a goal or a measure of success. And we don't measure business success by our balance sheet. For us, success is helping people align their finances with their purpose so they can plan for using their time, talents, and finances to live full lives of meaning and gratitude. The theme of today's event is Through Challenge Comes Transformation. We're currently in the midst of a transformation at Thrivent. We're transforming into a digital-first, holistic financial services organization known for purpose-based financial advice and exceptional client experiences. We're transforming because we know there are people out there who want to work with a financial service organization like Thrivent. And we want to serve them in ways most meaningful to them. I'd like to share 3 observations with you that we've discovered during our organizational transformation. My hope is that these will provide inspiration for any personal or business challenges you may encounter. First, take time to discover and understand your purpose. When you're clear on the core foundation for your actions, you'll have clarity to make decisions that are in alignment with your values and beliefs. At Thrivent, we believe humanity thrives when people make the most of all they've been given. This is our purpose. As we've embarked on our transformation, we've centered on our purpose as we make decisions and navigate challenges. This has enabled us to stay true to our roots and build for the future. Second, recognize that embracing challenges can catapult you on your transformation journey. Difficult challenges can seem daunting, but they come with a silver lining. Thrivent is transforming during a time of significant change and disruption in the financial services industry, in business, and in society. We've made a conscious decision to meet this disruption head-on. We know our purpose, and we know that this environment can propel us further than if things had remained the status quo. For example, the pandemic propelled us further on our digital transformation than we would have moved in normal circumstances. We adapted and learned faster because we had to, and we're better because of it. Finally, create a vision and then keep your focus on the future. Transformation is hard work. It requires a new way of thinking, a different way of finding solutions, and a commitment to a positive mindset. Create a vision for what the future looks like, and don't lose sight of why you're doing this hard work. Keep your long-term goals in mind when you face the bumps in the road, and remember, the work is worth it. This is true for Thrivent. We're excited about serving our current and future clients and helping them achieve financial clarity, enabling lives of meaning and gratitude. When you understand your purpose, see challenge as a way to accelerate your transformation, and focus on the future, you'll find your transformation to be a rewarding journey. Thank you, and thank you for all you do at BestPrep. You're such an amazing organization, and you impact the lives of students every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words of inspiration and your perspective and your optimism.
Thank you.
We need more of that. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time to get some perspective on the education side with our next keynote, Superintendent of St. Paul Public Schools, Dr. Joe Gothard. Gothard is the educational leader of the entire school district, which serves about 36,000 students. Gothard launched the SPPS Achieves strategic plan to set aspirational and attainable goals for student achievement, guide decision-making, and focus the district's efforts on long-term student outcomes. Please welcome Dr. Joe Gothard. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, BestPrep Board of Directors, participating districts, schools, educators, and students. And to President and CEO Bob Cates and your entire team, I can't thank you enough for how much your partnership means to St. Paul Public Schools and students throughout Minnesota. To have St. Paul Public Schools as the largest participating member of BestPrep means a lot, and it doesn't happen by chance. It happens because throughout the years, we've continued to put the priorities of students together with our incredible community and make sure that we provide students meaningful and relevant opportunities for their growth. And let us not forget what brings all of us here today, our students. Our students are amazing. And students, I also want you to know that I know these last, now almost 2 years, you've had to endure a lot. And I want you to know how much I believe in you and have seen your resilience and know that you are going to be successful in your futures. We also are in the midst of a seemingly endless change in the Industrial Revolution. These are changes that have taken place rapidly over the years, and it seems now over the last 18 months that we're redeveloping ourselves, sometimes almost daily. And with that comes a lot of opportunities for us to rethink how we prepare our students for their futures. However, in education, we've continued to sustain a model of pre-K-12 education that does not support all students. It does not support our mission of preparing students for their future. As an equal measure, schools continue to open their doors to opportunities. For many students, opportunities do not equal success, and access does not equal support. And that's something that we have to change in education. Schools are equal by design, but unfair in application and disparate in outcomes. These are the experiences that many of the 80% of the racially diverse SPPS students and their families have felt. In fact, this is one that has been part of my career for 27 years, beginning in Lincoln Elementary School in Madison, Wisconsin, and many, many years before that time as well. And I can discuss external factors and cast blame if I choose, but now in 27 years as an educator, I know better. We have to adapt to serve all students and ensure their success. Equity in education means that we are committed to identifying inequities, removing barriers, and building unending support. So let me share a brief historical view of the high school experience. The history of high school education: 180 school days, 7 periods in a day, 50-minute classes, 30 to 40 in a room, far less if you're lucky. Desks are in rows, mastering standards set by the state, and students accumulating credits to say that they have deemed the necessary requirements to graduate from their particular school. This is a one-size-fits-all approach. And look, we can go back in time and remember how things used to be. We can compare how things were in the 50s or the 80s or the early 2000s. And yes, technology has changed, a lot of the expectations have changed, but has school really changed? Have we been able to identify the inequities that I spoke of earlier and remove barriers so that all students can be successful? These are the challenges, and in my career I faced them numerous times. I think back to being a newer teacher in the 90s, and we participated in an activity called High School of the Future. This was well before technology, and we had poster board up on the walls in the room. We would gather after school, or if we were lucky on a professional development day, and we would brainstorm what kind of school do we want to be in the future. And as sad as it is, I could do that same activity today, and many of the same things would come up. And there's a few reasons for that. One, I don't think we've pushed far enough and hard enough to really expand what we mean as a meaningful and relevant education for our students. I think during the pandemic, we were pushed to do that very quickly, and we learned a lot from that. And I'll get to that in a little bit later. But I also think we haven't experienced the kind of incremental success in the 20 or so years that I've mentioned for us to really build on that. We continue to be perpetually ineffective in solving the problems that have existed for many years in education. In the early 2000s, research came out called Breaking Ranks from the National Association of Secondary Principals, and it focused on key aspects of career advisory, pathways, dual credit, and personal learning plans. And these are all things that we're engaged with today. I would be wrong to sit and criticize this, as many of our staff and students are, and you, BestPrep community, are engaged in this kind of work. However, one of the challenges that I see is that work starts at 15 or 16 years old. You're a junior in high school, and many times for the first time, somebody says, what do you want to do? Do you have the right credits? And are you preparing yourself for the kind of future that you want? Or do you know about the opportunities that exist in the future that could be yours? This is what's known as equal opportunity when patterns of inequity exist. And we can look at patterns of inequity by race. We can look at zip code, where a student lives and what opportunities are there in their neighborhoods, in their communities. And we can most certainly look at policies. What policies do we have in place that are, in fact, barriers to students being successful, that perpetuate inequity and lead to some of the disparate outcomes that I spoke of earlier. The pandemic was and continues to be challenging for all of us. In March of 2020, there was a lot that we didn't know how to do. And I am so proud that we are able to find ways to help our students with connecting, accessing, engaging, and being supported by our staff. And it wasn't easy, but I give each of our staff, I give our community a lot of credit. We did the best that we could, but we know that our students are coming back, many who haven't been in a school building in an uninterrupted year in 3 years. That means that our current sophomores were in the 8th grade last time school wasn't interrupted. And many would argue that it's still interrupted today as we continue to be impacted by the pandemic. I'd also like us to talk about a new day in education. And in St. Paul, I feel so fortunate to represent our school district and to be an active member of our community, nurturing and growing partnerships that are going to benefit our students and families. We have work underway for College Bound St. Paul, Mayor Carter's investment in working with the community to make sure that every child born in St. Paul gets a $50 savings account for college. That is a belief gap strategy right there. It is worthy that every child born in St. Paul has this opportunity. It's up to our community, not our schools, not our teachers, our community, not our families, not our businesses, our community. That means all of us together to ensure that that happens. I'm part of an effort called St. Paul Are Ready for Kindergarten, or SPARK. We are looking to bring universal 3 and 4K to St. Paul, Minnesota, and to be the first in the state to do this, and I'm very excited about it. The earlier that we can start, the better outcomes we will have for our children. Our personalized learning plan that, again, I referenced in research earlier that started much later in high school, has now begun in St. Paul Public Schools in pre-kindergarten. Asking students, what are you good at? What do you believe in? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Now, I don't know about careers for a 4-year-old, but you never know. But the plan is that we begin to document that information, and we use this to build our system around our students' assets, their strengths. Why would we create the system of school and force students into the system, that's created in that one-size-fits-all way? We have to be able to and courageous enough to adapt our system around what our students possess. That's how you build equity. That's how you build community. We're also excited to continue to work on our middle school model. Our middle school model to give students a chance to explore different areas and things that they're interested in, built on that personal learning plan, so they can be ready for their high school experiences and the opportunities that they will have at that level. And of course, college and career readiness. One thing I thought of during the pandemic as we come to a close here is that what if school looked different? What if we were to create, a dramatic pause here, a 12-hour school day? A 12-hour school day that started at 8 o'clock, and students might be in class brick and mortar from 8 until noon. From noon until 4, they might be on a site somewhere taking courses online. It could be anywhere in the world for that matter. And in the evening, they're in an internship or in the workplace. Now, we can shift those modules around. Why can't we give students the opportunity to work in the morning, take courses brick and mortar in the afternoon, and still participate in their school events, sports, or clubs that they belong to? We offer so many opportunities to our students, but the fact is that there's competition for them. We have to look at ways to break our traditional school so that we can provide true opportunities to students at all times who need them so badly. BestPrep is a model far ahead of its time in terms of serving students with your e-cloud or your e-mentoring opportunities. I think that this fits very well with what a new day could be for education. With that, I just want to say I am so thrilled to be a partner with BestPrep. These partnerships do not just happen. They take a lot of great work and commitment, and they take a supportive community. So to the BestPrep Board of Directors, again, and all of you who are here supporting these efforts today, on behalf of St. Paul Public Schools, thank you so very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gothard. And I appreciate your vision of what education might become. The only constant in life is change. What worked in the 1980s may not work in the 2020s and the 2030s. So you gave us plenty to chew on. Thank you. And now, It's time to put these two perspectives together with a Q&A as a group. Welcoming Terry back, and I will step back and ask a couple of questions that are on my mind, hopefully on your mind as well. So, question number one, when it comes to education today, what is something most adults don't understand that you want them to know about? Dr. Gothard.
I think one thing that adults really struggle with today is that we are consumed with information about schools. But is it the right information? I know many times individuals, community will look at schools and relate their feelings about them based on test scores. And I invite anyone anytime to open the doors of a schoolhouse, and you will see amazing things taking place. You will see educators and support staff and families meeting students where they're at and developing systems of support to help them improve. It's the very backbone of our communities, and I think sometimes we take it for granted, and again, trying to prepare students to all be in the same place at the same time. I think that those efforts, though they may be valid by some, I don't know that they've proven to be effective. And I think the community approach to truly identifying how to help each and every student grow is where our efforts should be.
Okay. Terry?
Well, Dr. Gothard is clearly the expert here, but I'd like to add that I've been so inspired by the resiliency that I see and the commitment of our teachers, our leaders, and students alike, who are all navigating this incredible challenge and have been doing so in the last 18 months with the pandemic. And so I think sometimes as adults, we don't give enough credit to the leaders, the teachers, and the students who are coming through this and doing remarkably well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, frontline workers, we think healthcare. We should also be thinking about educators and support staff, bus drivers. Absolutely. Terry, I'm curious, do you feel the work culture is going to change post-COVID with more workers returning to the office?
Well, the short answer is yes. And I do think we're in the midst of a work culture shift. As an example, our workforce has been incredibly dedicated and productive during the pandemic. I was sharing with Paul earlier, he asked how is business doing, and we're having the best year we've had in 5 years. And so it's really a tribute to our workforce and their adaptability. And they wherever they're working, they keep our clients front and center. And they have really served our clients with excellence since the very beginning. You know, we think of Thrivent, really our colleagues, as a family. We refer to ourselves as one big family. And we're really eager to again rejoin that family in the office when it's safe. And so at Thrivent, we kind of have a little advantage over a lot of other employers in that we, during the pandemic, built this beautiful corporate center in downtown Minneapolis, which is built precisely for the future of work as we see it, with lots of collaboration space. And so we have a workforce that's eager to get back to our building, and we like I said, can't wait to welcome them back when it's safe to do so.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Joe, how are students adjusting from being on their own virtually to coming back into the classrooms? Big adjustment?
It is a big adjustment, and I think that there were many things that students really liked about being in virtual learning. Learning from your bedroom on some days isn't so bad, but doing that day after day, month after month, and year after year, clearly by the outcomes that we were able to observe, it wasn't a sustainable model or a model that was built on the goals that we have for our students. So the transition has been difficult, and we have to remember that our students haven't had an uninterrupted year in some time. And school is really based on rituals and routines and community and culture. And in that time, things change. The world around us has changed, and our students have experienced a lot in their own personal lives. Their families have also experienced changes as a result of the pandemic. And when you add up all of that, there is likely to be the need for us to make sure that we're focusing first on relationships and community in our classrooms and in our schools. And I think if I've learned or heard anything in this early start to the school year, it's our staff and educators and community partners truly focusing on that.
Okay. So next question for both of you. What can schools do to better prepare students for the world of work, which is evolving before our eyes? The changes can be unsettling for many. Terry, how would you address that?
Well, I see a couple of ways, and it shouldn't be solely on the shoulders of our schools. And so I think Dr. Gothard alluded to this in his keynote when he said, help students uncover their gifts. You know, help them find what they really love to do, because work doesn't feel like work if you find what your purpose is and what you really love to do. And I think we all have a role in that. The community has a role in that to really help each and every child to discover their purpose and really help them unpack their gifts.
Dr. Gothard?
And I would add to that I think schools are based on tradition. I mean, we are, my siblings and parents and grandparents, went through a school system, and that's kind of how you go through things. And things are really slow to change. Again, we might call them different things, but the experiences really don't. And I think the first thing is to make sure that our experience is relevant with opportunities that exist today. Here's an example. Monday night in a board meeting, I learned that there are 60,000 jobs in clean energy in Minnesota. And when I asked the gentleman who was co-presenting at our meeting what some school districts are that have really taken this initiative to change the curriculum and look to create pathways for students in those areas, he was able to name, half a dozen school districts that are doing this. And it's that kind of work, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, but we have to be incredibly curious right now and ask questions and learn more and make sure that we're not only living in the past and in terms of some of the policies that we have, but we're excited and we're providing opportunity and access for those opportunities that exist for students and in their futures.
Joe, how has the murder of George Floyd impacted your organizations?
Well, certainly the proximity has been incredibly difficult. And the year before I arrived, Philando Castile in 2016 was killed. He was a member of our staff. He worked at J.J. Hill Montessori School as a nutrition services worker. So there was that traumatic feeling, of course. But it was far more than that because of the graphic nature and the media coverage of the actual murder, lasting right into the trial as well. I think for the first time, there were many individuals who have felt underserved, not heard, not seen, who were able to build some credibility on things that they've been fighting for a long time. Now, because so much of that was caught on camera, and so much of that was revealed, in a courtroom. And I think for many, it was a chance to step back and learn. Sadly, because of a very tragic circumstance that was unavoidable. And our students are looking for change. Our students are no longer in a position where they are ready to sit back and be compliant. I will say about our youth of today, they are taking charge of their lives and the injustices that they're seeing, and they're organizing around real change. If we look at some of the things that I'm disappointed or that I'm struggling with today, one of the things I'm not is our youth being leaders of the future.
Okay. Terry?
Well, the murder of George Floyd was a tragedy, and that really caused us at Thrivent to really step back. And we've been incredibly intentional about listening, learning, and then responding. And so we must be responsive to the needs of our workforce and our communities, but we can only be responsive if we first listen and then learn. So for our workforce, we convene listening circles where our workforce could share just the emotions of what our family, like I said, is going through. We have business resource networks, and they've created a forum for us to continue learning. And so we bring in speakers, and as a workforce, we're very intentional about making sure that we're learning about all aspects of our Thrivent family. In Minnesota and across the country, we took time to meet with and later listen to the needs of the BIPOC community. And so this has really helped us understand and also helped us really support those where they need it the most. I'm especially excited in the Twin Cities here about the Alliance for Alliances. This is an important effort that demonstrates that if we can come together, I think we can build solutions.
Terry, what assistance can other companies provide schools right now today?
Well, I think, funding is always top of mind, but it shouldn't only stop there. I think there's a huge opportunity for the workplaces to think more broadly in terms of connecting your workforce with students and teachers. So a great example of this is the Cloud Coach program with BestPrep, and it connects volunteers with students in a virtual environment to provide coaching. And Thrivent has provided funding for this program, and we're so excited. I think it kicks off next week.
Okay. Joe?
Well, a lot of and we don't have a lot of time for me to share what I'd really like to share with you other than this. I used to believe that as a high school principal, partnerships were opening the door and letting the community in. And I learned very quickly that it was far more than that. To be able to sit down and put strategic goals of organizations together and find ways that you can leverage those areas of their symmetry and really build deep and ongoing partnerships that you can come back frequently to assess how things are going, to make appropriate adjustments, and to ensure that those partnerships are going to be long-lasting. It's the BestPrep way, quite honestly. As you read about the history of what BestPrep has been able to do and accomplish, I think it says a lot about that kind of model and how others can be that way as well.
Okay. Last question. Terry, what has been one of the biggest challenges your organization has faced in the last year and a half? How do you work through that challenge in a positive way for a brighter tomorrow?
Well, we started our transformation in early 2020. And so, one of the biggest challenges we've been facing is we're transforming Thrivent, and we have been transforming Thrivent through the pandemic. And so there were times where, we kind of asked ourselves sometimes, why are we doing this? But we saw this huge future. We saw this potential where we could really help our clients and future clients achieve financial clarity so that they can lead these lives full of meaning and gratitude. And keeping our purpose and our promise front and center has really allowed us to weather this pandemic. And like I said, our workforce, our family, our Thrivent family has come together and delivered results that have been just incredible. And so we're excited about our future. And it really is a very bright future for us. And so for us, it's just we're staying above the line, as I like to say. We're optimistic and excited to embrace our future.
Terrific. Terry, thank you. Joe?
And I think for us, March of 2020 to, tell a staff of 6,000, we're going to distance learning, something we've never done, we're being forced to do. Thankfully, we had technology in hand and we're able to leverage that. But St. Paul Public Schools is so much more than the instructional piece. We delivered 20 million meals and had to develop a way to do that during the pandemic. We had staff that took care of children of essential workers throughout, on the best and worst days of COVID throughout the community. Those were really hard days as a leader to support everybody and to be able to make sure that they had the support necessary in a time that it was very difficult for just about anyone experiencing it. It was certainly a challenge. But a brighter day, go into any school to see happy children, really hardworking staff who are happy and working hard, and making sure that we can keep our doors open now and into the future.
Terrific. Dr. Gothard, thank you. Terry Rasmussen, thank you both. This has been very informative, and we appreciate your perspective and, again, your perpetual optimism. We feed off that. I feed off that. By the way, I'm 6'6", so you can only imagine how tall Dr. Gothard is. What are you, like 7'2"? 6'6". My goodness. St. Paul is lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thank
Terry,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to end on that note. Thank you, both of you, and all of you, for an amazing conversation. And we appreciate you tuning in today and supporting Minnesota students and educators. Today's program was provided at no cost, but we would welcome your financial support. Please donate to BestPrep today at bestprep.org/donate. And save the date for BestPrep's Educational Forum on February 28, 2022, featuring Emmy Award winner Emmanuel Acho on the field at US Bank Stadium. Impacted dramatically by the murder of George Floyd, Acho will lead discussions with DNI officers and area students. Mark down May 9th, 2022 for the next Best Prep annual luncheon. God willing, it'll be in person, the way it should be. But we appreciate you rolling with the punches. We always appreciate your support. As we say goodbye, let's hear one last performance from vocal lesson singers of this age. Thank you, and we hope to see many of you in person soon.